Are you thinking of selling your house and are curious whether a cash home buying company might be a great solution for you? Hi, my name is Ben Sochek. I'm with 7 Days Cash Home Buyers. And recently, we've been getting a number of calls from individuals that are expecting not only what I would consider a full retail price if they sold a house through a traditional means with an agent, but even above that. And so I wanted to uh, share some information with you so that if you are thinking about selling your house and you've seen the ads maybe on TV, heard the ads on radio, maybe getting a lot of direct mail, some postcards and letters in the mail, and the offers or the proposal for a company to buy your house as is with no closing costs, no commissions, certainly sounds of interest. And so it certainly is worth checking out if you're thinking of selling a house. But I also want to introduce a little bit of reality into the process. And what I tell anyone is that if they're thinking about selling a house, if they list a house through an agent or really even sell a house in any traditional manner for sale by owner or an agent, there is going to be some standard transaction costs. And those transaction costs, which include typically a real estate agent's commissions or fees, the closing costs to sell a house for the title company, the closing fee itself, the title insurance, recording fees at the county courthouse, things like pest inspection, and some other items that go into those transaction costs. Another thing, now that the market is not quite as hot as what it used to be, are things like the buyer's closing cost. And when a buyer purchases a house and considers making an offer on your house, they will also typically ask for the seller to pay some of their closing costs. And so you have all these items that go into, again, what I call a bucket of transaction cost, so that they equal about an 8 to 12% amount of the total or gross selling price. So if a person is looking at selling a house for, say, the market value, the true market value of the house is $300,000 as a gross number, they're going to lose about 8 to 12% of that number on those transaction costs, even in a best case retail situation. And so when a cash home buyer comes into the picture, even though that cash home buyer will typically pay for the closing cost, and of course the buyer doesn't have agent's fees typically when they buy a house, when they sell a house, there's still typically going to be some cost for a person to help the company sell the house. And then there's going to be a buyer's agent usually involved and wants the seller to pay for their compensation. Again, all that's negotiable, but that is typically reality. The other things that a cash home buyer needs to take into account are holding costs. So but from the time that they purchase the house, they're going to have the cost of capital to purchase that house for interest costs or capital cost, taxes, insurance, utilities, and then the cost again to sell the house at some point in the future. And besides that, of course, then they're going to hopefully have some profit involved. And for our company, that varies because it all comes down, our offers typically all come down to perceived risk. If we can see good comparables in the area and are very confident in our numbers, we can be more aggressive with our offers. If we do not see good comparables, and so we don't know what the true value of or potential value of the house is, that gets we build in a little bit more protection for that perceived greater risk. So those are all things to take into account. We also, in most real home buyer cases, cash home buyer cases, they're only going to be able to borrow as much as between a 70 to 75% or so amount of the potential value of that house. So whether a home buyer wants to pay a more aggressive price or not, typically they're going to keep their offers so that they can actually borrow money to purchase that house. If they don't stay in that type of a conforming purchase amount, then they again get into a situation where there's a lot more risk. And if they see any bit of a downturn in the market, then they have just created a bad situation for themselves. And long term, they can't provide a home buying service for anyone else in the future. So again, if you're thinking about selling a house, a cash home buyer can be a great option for you. Just make sure that you're dealing with a trusted real home buying company. And I'll discuss that in another video as far as finding a real home buying company. But just be aware of the realities of selling a house. Again, whether you're selling it through an agent or for sale by owner or to a cash home buying company, there's benefits to each. And so if you value things that the cash home buying company is bringing to the table, then we certainly can be a great option for you. And certainly if you don't value those things, then we can definitely recommend a couple different agents too that we would typically work with to be a good solution for you. So in any case, if you'd like to discuss your situation, we'd be happy to do that and see if we can find a great solution for you. Just go to 7dayscash.com. That's the number 7dayscash.com. And we'd be happy to help you in any way that we can. Thank you.